xmod 5 cell conversion, you will need solder and soldering iron, wire and wire cutters, xmod and the included Phillips, AAA battery holder, wheel nut driver, sharp knife and super glue. Here's a rough circuit diagram showing the positive wire is red and the negative is blue. What we'll do is remove the central link, then add the fifth cell to complete the circuit, observing the negative to positive connections. What you may need to do is remove some of the plastic from the rear bumper after you've removed it from your car. This will allow the cell to fit between the screw posts at the rear of the bumper. You may not need to do this if you've got enough space. And if you're under 18, it's best you get an adult to do this part. But make sure you've got a snug fit. Take some of your wire, measure out enough to get the shell comfortably away from the car, about 3 to 4 inches. Fold it in half at the point you came to. Then get your wire cutters and cut it where the other wire meets the long wire. Now unfold it and cut in the middle so you have 2 pieces of the same length. You need to strip the wire and then tin it. That's putting solder onto the wire before you get any of the contact. You need to do this for both ends of both pieces of wire. So you've got the 2 pieces there. Fold the soldering underneath and add the solder. Once that is done, you can take your battery cell and you'll notice 2 little holes near the top corners of the battery holder. What I'm going to do is take my wire, slot it through that little hole, and then I'll push it all the way through to the other bare end. It's sticking out just enough to reach the contact. It can be a bit fiddly, but it's not too bad. Now, as you've tinned the wire and the contact, you'll only need to touch the soldering iron onto the contact for a few seconds to make both pieces of solder melt and join. They have a nice solid join. Proceed to do the other side of the joint. I just want to push through from the inside because, well, let's mix it up a little. You see there goes right just through there. Bend it over and solder it in place. And unfortunately, I snapped the tab off of this one, so it's going to be a bit more tricky. Pushing the wire through the hole and then soldering to the contact gives it a bit more mechanical strength, so it doesn't get pulled off as easily. Now we can take the super glue, put a few spots on the inside of the bumper. This is to stick the new battery cell to the bumper. Now I mentioned earlier you need a snug fit. That'll also help it stay in place. So the way you're going to mount it is with the positive to the left-hand side of the car and the sprung negative contact to the right-hand side of the car. That makes it easier to line things up properly when you're soldering it onto the battery cells that are already on the car. Okay, that seems good and stuck. So there you have the cell and rear bumper unit. What we're going to do next is remove the wheels. Let's make it a lot easier to get the soldering iron in there and not melt the plastic, melt the tyres, generally mess it up. Take off the wheel and nut and any wheel washers you may have on there. Repeat this again to the other side. This is where your wheel nut driver comes in, obviously. Once done that, you can get to removing the rear link. Get the soldering iron, touch on the contact, and gently pull on the wire that's soldered onto the bottom contact, and it should come off pretty easily. And it'll work just the same, if not even easier, for the other side. As the diagram showed earlier, there goes the central link. Then you can take the bumper and cell unit you made. The sprung contact, let's say, goes to the right-hand side of the car. I'm going to bend that down and just get the hang of trying to look at a screen while you're doing things instead of looking at it yourself. You take your tinned wire contact, put it onto the contact of the battery holder that's already got solder on it, and hold it until both solders melt. Although it's best to take your batteries out, because with a spring in there, it can warp your battery holder if you've got too much heat on there. So just pop your batteries out to save damaging your battery holders. Now that they're out, we can get on with soldering the new battery cell negative to the current battery cell positive. Now to pop your tyres or wheels underneath to get your ground clearance, make it a bit easier to see. There you go, that's be holding pretty well. You want to keep the wire very still as you're soldering. If you move it about while it's drying or cooling, it'll turn to a very dull silver colour. It won't be a very strong joint, and it'll snap very easily. I'm going to bring it around to do the other side, which is pretty much the same. Let's say we're using the lower battery contacts because that's the easiest option. Take care not to melt your suspension arm or your cell holder. Okay, that's held nice and tight. Yep, that's done. As in the diagram earlier, there's the removed link and the new cell put in its place to complete the circuit. Here's an image of what the car itself looks like. Thank you very much.